and welcome to the Broad Street Hockey Podcast. I am your host, Ryan Gilbert. Joining me, as usual, is my co-host, Joe DeMarini. Joe, what are we doing here on this rare Tuesday off night for the Flyers?
Yeah, 3 off nights in a row, right? No game Sunday, no game yesterday, no game today. It's been all right. My heat might be broken, so that sucks. But I did get my bean shipment today, my quarterly bean shipment. So, we take the good and the bad together. How you doing, Gilbs?
I'm doing good, and hopefully some of these hot takes out there on social media can help heat your apartment there with your heating out, because there's certainly some spicy takes here. This is our third day off for the Flyers in a row. It's been spicy out there since some comments on Saturday there, but yeah, I'm excited to get into that. Tyson Foerster was back at practice today. I'm happy we're recording today rather than Monday, so we have that to talk about. You brought it up a few weeks ago, like Trevor Zegras extension could be a good time to talk about it, but no, I'm talking about it now. It was probably a good time 2 weeks ago, but he continues to be great for the Flyers outside of shift changes in overtime. But that's a little bit of a footnote there. But of course, top of the show here, we have to thank our sponsor, FanDuel. FanDuel here. We were just talking before the show, like, do we think the Flyers can make the playoffs? And let's see, does FanDuel think the Flyers can make the playoffs? The answer is no. They are plus 290 to make the playoffs. That's come down a bit. They were at plus 320 before the season. So, the East is all log jammed up there. It's going to be with, record pace for so many overtimes this season. The Flyers especially getting so many overtime games. So, plus 290 at FanDuel there for the Flyers to make the playoffs. And of course, top of the show, make sure you guys subscribe to the Broad Street Hockey Podcast feed on Apple and Spotify, and subscribe to YouTube there as well. We're going live every week for this podcast. I'm going to try to find a second time every week to go live, maybe a Thursday or Friday type of thing, just to, add something in there, add something to the mix. So we'll see what happens there. Joe, I felt like I talked for a long time there. What are you? What are your thoughts right now around the Flyers? 2-0-1 during a stretch where we predicted, I think, we predicted one overtime win and then two regulation losses. So they did better than we thought, but still, everyone, of course, is mad online.
Yeah, of course, everyone's mad online. No, I on the playoffs thing, I just pulled up the most recent iteration of the point projections from HockeyViz. And they have the Flyers finishing the season with 78.1, which is the fourth worst points total in the NHL.
HockeyViz is a bunch of haters though on the Flyers. I don't know why Mike has to do that to us.
I know it's cruel, but it does raise a good point. We talked about it before the show. The East is a jumbled mess. Every team is hovering around Hockey 500, and that could mean that teams will stay in the playoff race longer than they might have otherwise. So we'll just have to wait and see which team is going to cave first, which one will wave the white flag and say, we're selling, we're going to retool, we're going to reset and try again next year. And the Flyers said in the offseason, we're not doing that unless we're like way out of it. So if everyone's still around Hockey 500 in February, when they go to the Olympics, then like, Flyers, maybe they make a push because other teams are just going to say, you know what, it's not our year, time to sell.
Yeah, I can't see the Flyers buying, but maybe they make a hockey trade. Maybe they just sell off like one or two pieces rather than, doing too much. But yeah, looking at the standings now, like I don't think Pittsburgh and Boston are going to stay in like the top 5 or 8 there. But like you also have the Rangers, Panthers, Maple Leafs, Capitals all below the Flyers in the standings. So plenty of stuff can happen here, but 15 games in, we can start to talk about expectations a bit. But we have to start with the Matvei Michkov discourse because it's I am not nearly as active on Twitter, if at all, than I am in recent years, just due to everything going on there. But whenever you see screenshots from over there, or you go over there to check something, it's just a complete shit show. And like this isn't just Flyers Twitter though. Like anyone that isn't like a real person on Twitter, like a real journalist on Twitter that has a blue check mark, that pays for a blue check mark, wants you to interact with their tweet. They are rage baiting, they are hate baiting. It's just how the media is today, and we are a part of that media. I'm a part of that media, like, and that's unfortunately where it is. Where you got to get the clicks, you got to get the page views. rational takes don't take off. You can have a long column. It doesn't get the clicks or views that a short blog saying Sean Couturier ripped Matvei Michkov would get, or the Flyers should trade Matvei Michkov, which I'm still not sure if that one was satire. And it's just people trying to go at Sean Couturier, they'd go at him either way. These people that are going at Couturier just hate him. They've hated him from the get-go. They hated him when all the nerds loved him because he was a great shutdown center. Then he became a first-line center, and he won a Selke, and he proved what he is. And now he's been dealing with injuries, so he's slowing down again. But imagine if he was just like, yeah, Michkov's been doing great. He's been doing fantastic. People be like, oh, why isn't the captain holding him accountable? The head coach is saying one thing. Why isn't the captain following that along? Why are we coddling Michkov? It's like these people are going to hate on whatever this team says. And it's so infuriating because it's like, okay, it's so easy to hate and be like, oh, well, this isn't going to work. Hextall isn't going to work. Fletcher isn't going to work. Deanna Briere is the same thing. And the truth is, the large majority of coaches, GMs across all sports get fired. They're not successful. One team is truly successful every year. And like you can debate that if there's good seasons for teams that make the playoffs, it shouldn't have, whatever, but unless the team wins the championship, it's largely viewed as a failure for the franchise, for the fans. And it's just like we're dissecting everything that Matvei Michkov does. He had an amazing goal on Saturday to get the Flyers back into the game. He's been improving. He's also been cheating out of the zone. He's also been cheating for breakaways. He's also, he said he didn't work on ice hockey for 4 months in the offseason, probably due to that ankle injury. Like, he's 20. He's 20 years old. We saw what happened with Kucherov. That's who he's been compared to. Why can't people point to that and be like, okay? And we see what happened in this year with Bedard. Bedard's been going off. He had a down sophomore year. Obviously, I wish Michkov was putting up Celebrini numbers in his second year here, but it takes time sometimes. And it's just everything here is under a microscope with him, and that's showing why if players get a whiff of this, that's why they don't want to come to Philadelphia. And that's just making it worse. This should be a fun year. Michkov had a great goal. Michkov is doing this and that, whatever. Zegras is fantastic. Like, this team's in the mix. Focus on that. Try to focus on a positive every day. These negative people, one positive thing about the Flyers. I want one positive tweet from every hater every day, and you'll feel much better.
Yeah. I mean, Drew is a bad captain because he didn't hold anyone accountable. Couturier is a bad captain because he's holding a player accountable. You can't win. No, but we've been saying for weeks, Michkov has played like ass. Like, he has not been good. And he's not immune to criticism. He's not infallible. He's going to make mistakes. We are within our rights to be like, yo, Matvei, you've been real bad to start this season. And he's starting to look good. He's starting to look better. But he's still inconsistent. The first period of that, what was it? The Sens game?
Sens game, yeah.
That was bad. Yeah. Everybody was bad, but he was also bad. He got it together in the second and third period, and everybody's now like, well, where's his ice time? He played really well. And it's like, guys, it's two games, maybe like half of 2 games that he put it together. Like, you can't just start piling the minutes on a guy for that. No, it's really weird to see how defensive people get of Michkov. I'm like, dog, he can. Tortorella scratched him twice. Like, he can handle it. Like, it's fine. You don't need to go to bat for him, and he's not immune to criticism. Nobody on this team is.
Nobody, maybe besides Trevor Zegras, but like he's even had his things here and there, especially in that overtime against Ottawa. 2-game goal streak now. Had a great goal on Thursday against Nashville off the great play by Cam York. Cam York has just been fantastic. But like, even with the Couturier stuff, like, people are cutting off the question, which is very important in the context. Like, Kevin Kurtz asked, like, okay, what have you seen from Michkov? What has he been doing better? Like whatever. And that's what Couturier talked about. Like, maybe it was a bit blunt and a bit too honest, but I'd rather have that than just trying to coddle him. Like, I'm sure Michkov agrees and would say the same thing about himself. He's like, yeah, I haven't been great overall. I haven't been great. When I'm not scoring, I'm not helping the team win. And that's something that he knows he needs to improve on, and he's going to. And like, he's starting to turn it on. He's starting to get a bit more ice time here and there, and he'll be fine. 8 points in 15 games now. He'll end up with 50 or 60 points, hopefully, and we'll just talk about this and look back and laugh on it.
Yeah, I mean, again, what Coots said is nothing that I don't think Tackett hasn't already said
Yeah,
himself to the
yeah.
media. And anybody who's actually watched a game would also just be like, yeah, fair assessment. Coots is right. Like
Mhm.
it's stupid. And I hope we can just let it go. Let it go and just be done with that after today. Because I don't want to talk about locker room drama, which is
No, but we're
not
going to though. We're going to every time Michkov does something badly or he gets talked about. He is the story in Philadelphia now. It doesn't matter if the Flyers win. Doesn't matter if the Flyers lose. He was the story in the national media last week, 2 weeks ago, because he had a slow start, and then he finally gets these 2 goals. So hopefully the national media will shut up about it. But the national media is now talking about it because we made the Couturier thing such a huge deal, and people are like, "Oh, why are people going after Couturier if this?" They shouldn't be. And they shouldn't be
no.
because it's yeah. Michkov is the future. He's the superstar. Maybe he'll be the captain one day, but right now he's still learning. He's still finding his game. He's still 20 years old. He's still not supposed to be here yet. He was supposed to be in the
Yeah,
KHL. Like he is everything we're getting right now from Michkov is gravy and
bonus.
working on. Yeah, exactly. It's just bonus time for Michkov, and if he doesn't fully take advantage of it with 80 points, that's fine. That's perfectly fine.
Why is it always Coots that is drawing national media attention? Like last year, it was when he got scratched. Before that, it was when he started on fourth line left wing. Now it's this. Like Sean Couturier's got the attention of the national hockey media, I suppose.
Well, the Flyers only have like 3 or 4 recognizable names. Like you have Couturier, Konechny, Travis
Sanheim.
Sanheim is now national. Now they have Zegras and Michkov, but like Couturier has been the one guy here for 15 years now. He's like the one constant on the Flyers, so
And he's
it makes
French.
sense. And he is French Canadian there. So um yeah, and we got new lines today at practice. Mentioned before, Tyson Foerster is back. Rick Tocchet was non-committal when he asked about it last week if he'd reunite that line together, but Charlie O'Connor tweeted out today lines and pairs in practice. You got Zegras, Couturier, Michkov, Forster, Case, Brink, Tippett, Dvorak, Konechny, and then Grebenkin, Abels, and Hathaway. You got Grundstrom rotating in on the Brink line. I guess that's if Forster can't go, and then Delorier rotating in on the fourth line there. So talks like, all right, Couturier, Michkov, go back together there. And does this end the hybrid approach with Zegras? Because Couturier is not playing wing. He's not fast enough for that.
No. I mean, it's interesting. Like, I'm okay with it. I mean, I
Yeah.
think it'll be really good. I think that's you want the most consistent two-way forward on the team. It's Sean Couturier, like,
Mhm.
and you've got him with these two dynamic offensive talents. I wonder if putting Michkov and Zegras together is like, okay, Mike, you're getting it back together. We're gonna give you like we're gonna give you Trevor back. You can have him back, and now you can go do some like offensive zone cooking.
Yeah.
Maybe they make it work so that for like a lower leverage face-off, Zegras takes it instead of Coots.
I-
But I can't see Tocchet being like, this is my best face-off guy, and I'm going to just let
Yeah.
Zegras
No.
do it. I don't know. Maybe he's told Coots too, like, yo, same thing he told Dvorak. Like, if he's in as a center, maybe just let him kind of cook there for a second.
Yeah. I the only thing I don't like is breaking up Zegras and Dvorak because it really looked like they had something going first with Michkov and then again with Tippett. I really liked that line with Dvorak, a responsible two-way center, Tippett, the speedster, the shooter, and Zegras can, be the playmaker there. He can carry the puck along with Tippett. Like I really liked that line, how they looked. And then that would put Konechny, Couturier, Michkov, which we've seen before, and I know both of those guys like being on the right side, and perhaps
Yeah.
that's why they're doing that. But I just feel like you had such a good thing going there with Zegras and Dvorak, especially, and Tippett on that side. You can still reunite the Kate's line and have 3 of your best overall players together. But maybe they just want to spread it out and see what Konechny and Tippett can do with Dvorak, because it's still 3 solid lines you have, and then the fourth line is whatever.
Part of it makes me wonder if they want to give Zegras and Michkov some higher leverage matchup minutes. like see what they can do against better competition. Because Coots is your best like all around maybe shutdown forward. I know the Cates line is really good at that, but if you've got, if it's the Oilers, you're probably putting Cates against McDavid because he seems to have McDavid's number for some reason. But who are you matching up against Draisaitl? Dvorak, Tippett, Konechny? I don't think so. I think you put Couturier, and then you say, all right, Zegras and Michkov, we know you're not like known for your defense, but let's see what you can do.
Yeah, because the Oilers, I mean, they came back last night for a big win, but they got shellacked 9-1 by the Avalanche. Yeah, I mean, they're top six. Their top six right now is looking at the Oilers, just going tangentially here.
Yeah.
Nugent Hopkins is hurt now, so you have Mangiapane, McDavid, Matthew Savoy, and then Podkolzin, Draisaitl, Roslovic. Yeah, you put Cates against that top line, and then Couturier against the second line, and maybe that's why they're putting Zegras and Michkov with Couturier, because I think they can, Foerster's back. So you have that as the shutdown line. They're going to go up against opposing teams' best players. You have the Edmonton game. Then you have the back-to-back this weekend at St. Louis, at Dallas. St. Louis doesn't really scare me offensively. Dallas does. Dallas does with Robertson and Hintz back now and Mikko Rantanen. But I'm just happy that the Foerster Cates Brink line is back together. There was no reason to break that up. If something has to happen where you have to break it up, go for it. But
we'll see how Foerster comes back from whatever injury he had. Honestly, I'm still holding out hope for Foerster, Zegras, Michkov. I still think that would be just a really good line.
Yeah, I think we could see that down the road there. But like when Foerster was out, like people were like panicking, like, okay, what are we doing now? Like, are we going to replace him on that line? Or are we going to split it up? And Taka split it up, but I like having that back, having that constant, knowing that's your matchup line. And then, Tippett, Dvorak, Konechny can probably get maybe that's your second shutdown line. And then the Couturier line gets the easy minutes. Try to get Zegras and Michkov easy minutes there. But, you do have the road back-to-back after this Wednesday. So, can't think too much into matchups. But I like these top three lines. And I have to shout out Jacob Russell for this because he's been banging this drum in the Slack. But why can't the fourth line like have some sort of skill? Like, why does it have to be Obels, who I love, but his offense isn't translating here in the regular season? Hathaway has been a huge disappointment. He's just getting under people's skin. That's what he has to do, but he has to do other stuff as well. And Grebenkin, I like Grebenkin, but like I would like to have a fourth line that is either a line that can completely outcheck the opponent or a line with some skill. And the Flyers are much like most teams. They're like, all right, the fourth line's whatever. They're not going to get many minutes, but you need to maximize those minutes. You need to get the best out of them that you can. Like, I'd rather see Carl Grundstrom on that fourth line. I don't know, instead of who, I guess not over Grebenkin. I guess it would be over Obels, but Obels is a center, so you can't do that.
Yeah, Grundstrom's not a center, right?
No, Grundstrom's a winger, so that does kind of makes it tough without Zegras being in the center role.
Yeah, because I mean, if Zegras can move to center full time, then you've got Dvorak as your 4C, I suppose, and then like Grebenkin, Dvorak, Hathaway. That's a pretty decent fourth line on paper. I think
I would like that. But Dvorak's been, I think, better than I thought so far. 9 points in 15 games. A lot of that's due to playing with Zegras and Michkov and Tippett. But you have to put those pucks in the net. You have to make those plays, and he's been doing them.
Yeah. Can we talk the defense? Because I just cannot say enough good things about this team's top four defense right now. Sanheim has stopped scoring, but Cam York has been just a monster. And Jamie Drysdale looks like a stud again, and it's great. I'm so here for it.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if this article got published yet on BrawlStreet.com. I know J-Mac was, I think, working on it. Something about Nick Seeler. He was like, Seeler's played, more than 20 minutes, more games this year or something compared to last year. And like, I do like that for Nick Seeler. I like that Nick Seeler is playing well in second pair minutes, but I don't want Nick Seeler playing on my second pair. Like he's playing above his head, I think, on the second pair. And I think Drysdale probably deserves a lot of credit for that. But I would love to see him drop back down to the third pair. Hopefully, Risto is on track for whenever he's supposed to come back. But yeah, York Sanheim is looking like it can be. It's not a legit top pair on like a Stanley Cup team, but it's a top pair for like a playoff bubble, like a team that can make the playoffs as long as you
Yeah.
have a good second pair and a better third pair. Like if Risto comes back and he's healthy for the season, and you have like that Sanheim, Drysdale, York, Risto, Sealer, Juleson, I guess, as the third pair, like that's a defense group that I think you can work with.
I don't think they'd play it that way, though. I mean, do you really see them shuffling it around when Risto comes back, or do you think that maybe like they just put Risto on the third pair with Andre and then go from there?
I don't think Tocchet benches Juleson. I think that's the issue there.
Oh, so wait, so
No,
you would have Sanheim, Drysdale, York, Risto,
and then
Sealer,
Sealer,
Juleson?
Juleson as just like a complete shutdown pair. Like that's what we went over at last show. I was like, if Risto comes back now, what are your pairs? But I don't know if I want to break up Sanheim York. Like that's been a great
Not
top
yet.
pair. Sealer Drysdale has been good.
Power play
Maybe
York, baby.
power play York. Sanheim got some power play time as a second defenseman there, I think, on Saturday as
I
well.
think that's because
Not sure if that was like a
Forster.
long shift beforehand.
Yeah, it's because Forster was out. I don't know why they did that, but I guess Sanheim is the Forster replacement on that power play
Well,
unit,
no,
which,
he wasn't there. He wasn't there for the first few games. I don't know if it was like just like
oh,
after a long shift for like Tippett or something, so he couldn't join them.
no.
But whatever. Yeah, like Sanheim York, I would love to see Juleson out of the lineup. I just don't think and as the 7 and even have like a Zamula Risto third pair because
Whoa.
the more I see from Emil Andre, the more I might trust the Flyers' judgment on him that he
Ooh.
might just not be it in the NHL. He just might not be it. He might be a great AHLer, a great tweener guy, a good sixth defenseman on a team that has 5 other good defensemen, but him and Jolson just did not look good on Saturday.
No, they didn't. But I mean, is that because of Andre or is that because he's paired with Juleson? Like we all
No,
remember,
that's
we
yeah.
thought Nick Sealer was awful, but in hindsight, it's because he had to drag the corpse of Keith Yandel up and down the ice for a season, and anybody was going to look bad in that situation. So I just is it Andre that can't do it, or is he stuck with a partner who's not capable of meeting him where he is?
That's definitely a good debate and a worthy point. And yeah, hopefully we get Andre Risto. Like that would be a fantastic pair. We keep asking for that. That would be,
The Scandinavian Smash Brothers.
yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I'm hoping this means Forster is back for Wednesday night's game against the Oilers. If that's been touched on after practice at all. It was in a regular jersey. Not seeing any quotes as a quick search here on Twitter, but very happy to see him back. Like I feel like we talk about how important he is to the team, but until you see the team without him, like
Mhm.
he's on the power play, he's on the penalty kill, he's one of your best 5-on-5 all around players. Like getting him back, I think is going to be huge.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm so stoked to see where his career goes. He's on such a good trajectory. Love it. Good old Typho. We all got the fever.
We all have the fever there, I guess,
The Typho
absolutely there.
fever.
And Tyson Foerster hopefully going to be here in Philadelphia for a long time with Matvei Michkov and hopefully with Trevor Zegras. Trevor Zegras,
Yeah.
you got Elliot Friedman now talking about the Flyers and Zegras probably both want to have an extension. He's leading the Flyers 16 points in 15 games. He's been embracing Philadelphia. Charlie tweeted after Saturday's game that he was just sitting in his locker there, like with his skates on, just like being like, oh, why didn't I, like, just hating himself for the bad change on the overtime
Yeah.
goal there. So
It
he's
happens,
embracing.
dude. Like it sucks, but it happens,
It happens. Yeah. At least he didn't cry like Dabish there up there in Montreal after an
Dog.
overtime loss.
That poor kid. He's on my fantasy team, and I'm like, man, that's a tough beat, dude. Like, keep your chin up.
That's a tough
No,
one there.
Trevor Zegras just staring into space, like playing that over and over in his head. I got flamed for bringing up contract extensions like 2 weeks ago in the Broad Street Hockey
We were like
Slack,
five.
and
We were like 5 games in. We're like, all right, let's
right.
wait a little bit. Let's wait a little bit. But
It was like 10. I was like,
okay,
that's a sample size.
yeah.
But yeah.
I think equally important is how many pending free agents have already re-signed with their team. Like looking at
Yeah.
cap wages, the top free agents in terms of projected cap by them is Panarin, Kempe, Ovechkin, Alex Tuck, Rasmus Anderson, Kopitar, Nick Schmaltz, Mike Matheson, Bjorkstrand, John Carlson, Anders Lee, Patrick Laine, Evgeny Malkin. Like, you don't want any of them on this team. Like, you don't want.
Half those
I
guys
would.
might be retiring.
Yeah, no, exactly. They don't fit the Flyers timeline. They wouldn't sign in Philadelphia. And Zegras wants to be here. Like, he is embracing Philly. He was talking about it, I think last week, about how when you come to Philadelphia, you don't want to embarrass yourself. And he's fully embracing that with he wants to become a hockey player, not just like a not known for like his skill stuff and good at hockey. So, and he's here with Jim Jam and Cam York, and he talked about how his 200th assist was that spinorama to Cam York, and he was like, "Oh, it's just cool that it was to Cam York because he's been one of my best buds in a while for a while here." So it just seems like
was it 200 assists or 200 points?
200th point. It was on the assist to.
I was gonna say,
Cam York.
Damn,
yeah, and Cam York is here through 2030. You got Drysdale due for a contract as well. I just wonder if the Flyers are waiting it out to be like, all right, Zegras, you had a great start. I don't think you're a point per game player. Let's wait a bit here, but it wouldn't shock me if this is signed before the new year even.
Christmas gift. Maybe it's a Christmas gift. I think part of it is health too, because he missed so much time due to injury the past 2 seasons. However, we've talked about it before. Those injuries weren't like a recurring problem. One was a broken leg. I can never remember the exact details, but they were both kind of like a freak instance that caused him to miss a lot of time.
Yeah.
They weren't.
Yeah, I know he had like knee surgery last year, and once your knee is fucked up, it is just risk of being fucked up the rest of your life. So that's always something interesting, something to watch there. Lower body injuries. He had ankle injury back in 2024 there. But yeah, it looks like he's fine. He's young. He's bouncing back. He's resilient there.
Yeah, and we got to keep in mind, I think the medical progress of surgeries on knees have come a long way since like Ghost and Giroux, I think. They both had their knee procedures done.
Yeah,
right.
I'm not sure if it was knee. I know they had like core injury procedures done.
Core muscle.
Knee as well,
sorry,
it was a core muscle. But yeah, with Zegras and
medical science has come a long way.
Yeah, with Zegras and Drysdale both being RFAs, I wonder if they're going to wait and like sign them together, like and try to get them both for a better package, like a better team friendly deal. And honestly, like, I know a lot of teams are doing more of these like 3-4 year deals right now, and I'd be fine with that. Like, I only certain players should really get 7-8 year deals. Like players that are clearly projectable to hold their value enough throughout the length of the contract. Like Zegras and Drysdale have been great now in small sample sizes, but can they do that for a full year? Can they keep that up over the the course of the contract? And I don't think I'm not in favor of it. I just don't think it's a negative thing for where the Flyers are right now.
No, I mean, York signed a 5-year deal, so that makes sense. Yeah. I feel like Zegras, I might try and go 7, but it all comes down to the cap hit. Like Drysdale, I will push back on. Oh, we've seen it in short spurts. He's coming up on 1 year since returning from that injury where he missed like 3-4 weeks last season. Mm-hmm. He started putting it together like game 1 from when he came back from that injury. I wrote an article for Broad Street Hockey last January comparing his first 11 games of the season last year to the first 14 after he came back from the injury. And the difference in his underlying statistics was just night and day. Like it's like in 3 weeks they coached him and he turned into a different defenseman. And we've just been seeing clear progression from that moment. I think they would probably extend Zegras before Drysdale, just like based on how things are playing out right now. But there's no rush either. Like the
No,
Flyers are going to have cap space. They don't need to do this now. It's
yeah,
okay.
this would be buying high on Zegras. Like this is one of his best like 15 game stretches of his career. I think when I wrote the article last week, like he had that's when he had like 15 points in 13 games to start the year. And the last time he had a stretch like that was his sophomore year of his career. So like this is one of the best stretches of his career, and he's playing good enough two-way hockey. Like I don't find him out there being like, okay, I don't want him out there like with a lead or defending. Like he's playing good back check, good in sticks in lanes. So if he can do that on the wing while scoring like this, I don't mind putting him out there with Couturier. Couturier 53% on the faceoff dot. Dvorak 54. Cates is 42. That's where it kind of gets iffy there. But you know,
Dicey.
with dicey there. But with Brink and Foerster on the wings, I just feel like even if you lose the draw, they can get in there and win a battle. And yeah, you brought up the defense. One more thing is we were so worried about the defense, specifically Jamie Drysdale, when Bradshaw left. So credit to this coaching staff,
Yeah.
credit to these players. They are, defying expectations so far early on. I mean, I think all the top four really are. Sanheim, York. Sanheim is living up to the expectations people had. He's still penciled in as a Team Canada Olympian. Cam York has been fantastic. I'm not sure why John Tortorella hated him so much, but thank God John Tortorella is gone, and we're seeing this version now. And Sealer Drysdale has been a fantastic second pair. So
it's been good.
Really
I also just wanted to talk about the face-off thing real quick, because this came up in the Slack chat a few days ago of like first line centers who are not necessarily known for their two-way defense or like face-off prowess. And we're going to talk about the Canadiens later, because after watching them play, I have a lot of thoughts about the Habs. Nick Suzuki is a career 49.2 face-off guy. Like he's fine, but he's not this dominant face-off dude, right? Mark Scheifele on the Jets is also not like known for face-offs or defensive acumen, but the scoring is so good that it doesn't matter. So let me pull up Scheifele here. Scheifele is a career 46.9%. If Zegras can get up to like 45, and is still able to score like a 50, sorry, not 50%, like a point per game ish rate, like he could be a first line center. He just isn't your classic Selke caliber two-way first line center. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, I completely agree, and I do think face-off percentages are very much overblown, because like you look at even the top teams in the league, the Avs right now are under 50%, 49.9. The Ducks at 46.6, Devils 48.2, Lightning 44.7. Like face-offs, I think they're important in certain key moments, and that's why you need two guys like Couturier, Dvorak you can put out there to win them. But like even looking at the top, specialists, even at the top centers in the league so far right now by points, Carlson's at 46%, Bedard's at 46%, McDavid 46%, Jack Eichel 50, Scheifele 49, Malkin 44, Crosby 52. Like it's like you're either one of the best face-off guys or it doesn't matter. And I feel like sure, that's definitely a weakness of Zegras, and maybe something you have to monitor to have him with someone that can win a face-off. But I'm not doubting his ability as a center in the future. It's just right now he fits better on the wing for this team. If Dvorak gets hurt, if Couturier, Cates get hurt, put him at center. But for now, I'm loving what I'm seeing at wing.
I know. I mean, Jack Hughes, nobody's going to be like, oh yeah, he can't play center. Or whatever. He's clearly a center, but I think his face-off percentage is something like, I don't know, 39. Let me pull that up real quick. He has a career 36% face-off percentage, and this season alone, he is 32.9%. So, and that's Jack Hughes, one of the like highest scoring centers in the league. So
but they have Nico Hischier, who's a Selke candidate and can win faceoffs like that. Like it's fine. It's perfectly fine there. You want to touch on going to the Canadian stuff now?
We can
With
talk
the
the
rebuild
Habs.
here, what is your thought process here? Like comparing them to the Flyers.
So, I mean, everybody's like, "Oh, the Flyers have to tank to get their high-end talent," and the Habs are sometimes held up as like, "Look, they had 3 top 5 picks, like, their rebuild's going really well." The rebuild's not going well because of their 3 top 5 picks. I mean, maybe Ivan Demidov becomes a star, but Uri Slafkovsky, a first overall pick, he's fine, but he's not. I wouldn't even say he's the 3rd best player on their team. David Reinbacher, a 5th overall pick, isn't even in the NHL. And there's been injury concerns to go along with that, but it's not all about the top picks. Martone and Michkov are probably better than. I'm hopeful that Martone could be a better Slafkovsky. Like, they both got that
he better
size.
be a better Slafkovsky.
Yeah. And then the way the Habs went about it, they did some savvy drafting later. I know Cole Caulfield's going to bring up some bad memories for Flyers fans, but then there's also Lane Hudson and Caden Gooley even.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they were drafted in the mid first and second rounds, and then really good trades. Nick Suzuki, unbelievable return for who was it? Stone?
Pacioretty, I think? Yeah.
Unbelievable return. Noah Dobson, you had those 2 extra firsts, go for it. He's a great top pair defenseman. Kirby Dach, because Chicago didn't want to sign a 22-year-old or whatever. That was crazy. Alex Newhook hasn't really panned out, but you take that swing. And then now Zach Bolduc is doing really well for them.
Yeah.
Like the Flyers got Drysdale and Zegras. They could be the reclamation projects in the vein of Dach and Newhook. Like there's more than one way to do this. It's not all top 5 picks, dudes.
No. Yeah. Kirby Dach, like I don't think he's ever going to be what he was supposed to be. And yeah, Newhook, he's a 30-point guy. But yeah, you need these third line guys. I think Dach and Newhook are great examples of that. I'm unsure on the Dobson trade. Like, I'm trying to think if the Flyers had done that, how I would have reacted. Obviously, you wouldn't have known that the Islanders would have got Aitchison and Eklund there. But Dobson, when you already have Gooley and you already have Hudson, I guess they're replacing Savard with Dobson, and he's young enough, and Matheson, yeah. So that works out. But while you were talking there, I was just looking up the Canadians' first round picks, and it's not good. It's a journey here. So they didn't have one this past year. Demidov in 2024, David Reinbacher in 2023, Slafkovsky first overall. He's not living up to that. Logan Mailloux, who thankfully they traded for Bolduc because Mailloux is down in the AHL now. Goalie was the 16th overall in 2020. Caulfield 15th in 2019. Jaden Struble second that year, but 2018 Cockton Niemi. He's been fine. Thankfully Carolina offer sheeted him for their sake. 2017 former Flyer. Do you have any guesses here?
Oh, I did just look this up. Oh crap.
Year before that was Sergachev, and year before that is a current Flyer.
Oh, is that Dvorak? Ryan Poehling.
Ryan Poehling was in 2017, 25th overall there, and 2015, 26th overall, the one and only Noah Juulsen there.
When I found out the other day that Noah Juulsen was a first-round pick, I nearly fell down. I was like, really? This dude was a first-round pick? That's crazy. In 2015, the most loaded draft of all time, the Habs took Noah Juulsen.
He's got that size, baby. Can't teach size. Cannot teach size. Let's see who went after Juulsen. Konechny went 2 before Juulsen. Jacob Larson, Beauvillier. No one. Sebastian Aho went in the second round, but
Rupe Hintz went in the second round, I think.
Yeah, but late first round picks. Nothing really great there from that draft. Outside of Brock Besser, Travis Konechny there back to back, and
that is so funny that the Flyers have now had 2 cast-offs from the 2015 first round. 3, Provorov, Guryanov, and now Juulsen have all been on this team at various points. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is wild there. We'll see if that. Yeah, the Canadians, they tanked, sure, and you can't tank. You can't tank in today's NHL. It doesn't work. Like, it doesn't work. And if you do tank, it takes you 7 to 10 years to get back to relevance, because if you're tanking, you're not signing good players in free agency. Players don't want to come to a team that is trying to get a top 5 pick, unless they're, like a Tyler Toffoli going to San Jose, or a Nick Foligno or Tyler Bertuzzi going to Chicago. Like, those aren't
Yeah.
great players. They're role players, but like, you can't have players want to come to your team while you're tanking. And I think that's kind of been the Flyers' whole thing. And they're not quite getting these players because players aren't going to free agency, but they got Dvorak. They had to overpay him for 1 year. Zegras probably wanted to come here. He's going to want to stay here. Who am I forgetting? Vladar wanted to come here. He's been great. Like, yeah, this is going to be the Flyers at the very least will be a team that players shouldn't waive their no trade clause to go to, unless it's for like personal want to stay local reasons.
I think it's important to note with the Habs too, they were in a unique circumstance to not outright tank, but bottom out. Carey Price and Shea Weber were cooked. They were done after that run to the Stanley Cup final. And like, what do? You can't sign anyone because their contracts are still on your book. They're not going to play for you. Like, what was it? They went to the Cup final in 2021, lost to the Lightning, and then drafted first overall the next summer. Like, sometimes it just goes that way. Sometimes that's just what happens. It's the NHL. And I don't think the Flyers were ever going to be in a position where they're two like franchise players just both were unable to play hockey at the same time.
Yeah, that would be awful. And an important thing that Montreal has done, looking at their cap wages page, is they haven't signed free agents to big contracts. Like, I don't love the Brendan Gallagher and Josh Anderson 6.5 and 5.5, but I feel like those were signed those were signed 2021 or 2020 even. Brendan Gallagher signed that. He hasn't aged well. Josh Anderson also signed his in 2020 when the Canadians were still trying to compete. They were still trying to compete with Price, with whatever they could there. But like, they haven't done what the Red Wings have done that we always shit on them for, signing Comp or Cop, or the Kings with Cody Ceci and Brian Dumoulin. They're giving their only long-term contract right now are Suzuki, Caulfield, Slafkovsky, Dobson, and Goalie. Like, that's the only guys they have locked up past 2029. And Hudson. And Hudson is also that's kind of where the Flyers are going.
And they took risks on trades. Like, Patrick Laine hasn't really worked out for them, but you took a swing. You gave up a second-round pick because you had an extra. Like, why not? Why not? He's a really good goal scorer.
Yeah, that's like the Zegras trade. Like, when Laine was healthy, he was great for them, and unfortunately, he hasn't stayed healthy.
And then Newhook, I think they had like 3 first round, it was the 2022 or 2023 draft. They had a really high second round pick and a really late first, and I think they traded one of the late firsts for Newhook to the Avs. Like, it's the same thing the Flyers did. They flipped one of their many second round picks into Zegras. You take the assets that you have as a position of strength and you turn them into things you need. The Habs were really good at doing that, and the Flyers still could do that ostensibly. Their position of strength is the wings, so we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, and one rehab project that the Canadians, I don't think, get enough credit for. Rehab, or the rehabs product there. Sean Monahan, they took on his contract for future considerations, turned him into a first round pick. They took on his contract. They're
with
like, all
the
right,
first.
Did they get a first for that as well?
Yes, they got Calgary's first round pick attached to the Sean Monahan
yes,
contract.
They did. And then they traded him for a first round pick in a conditional third. Like, that's not quite what the Flyers did with Sean Walker, but kind of close. And, maybe they can do similar with Christian Dvorak, like, buy him for 1 year, spend $5 million this year for second round pick, maybe a first, if you can attach like a Dvorak Hathaway for to the Leafs, for a team that wants some bottom six snarl there.
They did it once. I was just going to say, I don't care that the Flyers didn't take on Monahan with a first and then flip him for a first. They got a first and Grebenkin for Scott Lawton. Like, that is just bananas that they were able to pull that off in the first place. So,
Yeah.
it all balances out on the scales. Oh, but the draft calculate, no, that balances out in my mind.
Yeah. 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 So there's a few different blueprints out there for the Flyers. We talk about the Stars, the Habs. There's different ways to go about it. It's just don't go like the Red Wings, or I don't know what the Senators are doing, or Buffalo. Just avoid the Atlantic Division. Besides for Montreal.
That's true. That is
Yeah.
that is a good piece of advice because the core four of the Leafs, without one of them, boy, do they look stinky.
Yeah. They don't look too good there.
Don't look too good.
Don't look too good.
Matthews trade in 3 years, maybe?
Quite possibly there. Quite possibly there. Before we go to expectations for the season, like what do we want to see? I do want to touch on the elephant in the room that no one wants to talk about. Cutter Gauthier. Cutter
Okay.
Gauthier currently has 11 goals this season. That is tied for fourth there with Sidney Crosby and Marchand in 15 games. He had a hat trick. Him and Sidney Crosby were tied there atop the goal charts for a while. And yeah, it sucks that he didn't want to play in Philadelphia. It would be great to
Yes.
have him on this team as a scoring winger. But Jamie Drysdale is looking like a decent return for that. Even if Gauthier becomes like a 30 goal guy, maybe 40 goals. If 40 goals is, probably better than Drysdale is going to be, but he didn't want to be here. And like, that's something they can't control. Like it's just not like they sent John LeClair. Like, how do you ignore John LeClair, Patrick Sharp? Like, but the one positive of this Cutter Gauthier thing is that it shows that the Flyers scouts know how to pick players. And we've seen that over the past few years. We question their picks, and then we're like, okay, that actually kind of works out a little bit. And looking at that Cutter Gauthier draft, what draft was that? The 2022.
2022. No, you are bang on. You are bang on because I said the same thing like a year ago. I was like, yo, look, he didn't want to play here, but the scouts were correct. He was on draft day. Everybody's like, oh, he's overdrafted because they thought, I think most consensus boards had Gauthier at the highest, maybe 9th overall, but many others just had him in the teens. And the Flyers basically Mo-cidered him. They Moritz-cidered him. He was ranked in the teens and took him at 5. And the scouts so far, maybe they should have done a little bit more background check to make sure he actually wanted to play for the Flyers. But from a purely skill and on ice perspective, they kind of nailed it.
Yeah, because looking at that first round, I mean, it was after the COVID year and everything, but I think Logan Cooley is probably better than him. Him versus Slafkovsky, jury's still out. Like, he's going to be a top 3 player in that draft, unless Shane Wright went above him, Simon Nemec, Jiricek went after him, Korchinski. Hudson goes second round. Yeah, you can't do that. You can't do that, Joe. You can't be like, oh, they should have taken Lane Hudson for third.
No. I'm just
saying like in a redraft, yeah, he would be one of the top ones. But like, looking at that first round, it's just a bunch of slop there, and then you have Cutter Gauthier out of it. So yeah, it sucks to see him succeed elsewhere. It sucks that he didn't want to play here, but we got Drysdale out of it. We got a second round pick as well out of it, which Jack Murtagh. That probably helped facilitate in some way the Zegras trade, having a working relationship with Anaheim and Pat Verdeek. And Porter Martone wants to be here. Thomas wrote it up today, BroadStreetHockey.com. Read, like, and subscribe there. But he's been watching Flyers games. He's ecstatic to join them. And that's fantastic. Because if they had Gauthier last year, they don't get a top 5 pick.
Are you sure about that?
I would think so.
How much did Gauthier score last year with the Ducks? Also, it's important to note he's playing center with Mason McTavish, who's a good growing center. Like, that probably helps.
Yeah. He played last year. He had 20 goals, 44 points. So like, maybe not, but there's just a whole like domino effect that we can't be like, oh, but yeah, I'm not upset about how things have turned out.
No, I mean, it was the night after his hat trick. I started considering like the butterfly effect, and it's not just like the laser focus of Gauthier Drysdale. Like, it's not that comparison. It's, well, if the relationship hadn't soured with Gauthier, would the Flyers have been open to drafting Gabe Perreault over Oliver Bonk in 2023? because Gauthier probably would have been in the NHL and not with the Flyers by the end of that season, and not like back to BC where Gabe Perreault is going to play. And they were worried that maybe, he's going to sour the relationship with that. And then in 2024, what they've been more open to taking is friend Ziv Bouillon, who has the same agent as Gauthier.
Yes.
So it's like, but then you don't get Drysdale, you don't get Jack Murtagh, and you maybe don't get Zegras. So
I would say you don't get Zegras then,
yeah. So in scenario A, we still say everything's the same. Michkov, Martone, you still get that. But you have then Perreault instead of Bonk, and Bouillon instead of Luchenko, and you still have Gauthier. In scenario B, you have Drysdale, Zegras, Luchenko, and Bonk. And maybe the ceiling of scenario A is higher, but I think there's a pretty good case that either one of those outcomes would still be pretty good.
Yeah, like there's so many ifs and like butterfly effect and
Sure.
whatnot, but like you can't be like, oh man, it sucks that the Flyers got these guys instead of those other guys. Like it's not it's a win-win to some sort of extent, and it's very much just a wait and see. Like it's a wait and see for all of these guys, and yeah, it sucks to see players that the Flyers traded elsewhere succeed, but this one was kind of out of their hands. Like he wanted to be a Flyer, he said it on draft night that he wanted to be a Flyer, and then something happened. If only someone could tell us what happened. If only there was someone, maybe the player himself, that could maybe if like they gave players the chance to like talk to the media in the NHL, maybe they can have that be an option moving forward. But unfortunately, players aren't allowed to talk, so we don't know what happened there with Cutter Gauthier.
No. But no, I think there's still a lot of potential for Drysdale, and like we're seeing it come together. It's just so frustrating to watch these players that I have especially been like, when Drysdale was turning it on last year, I was like, guys, this guy's putting it together in real time. We're seeing it happen. And all I got was, no, he stinks, he sucks. This is I'm like, no, he's gonna be good. They get Zegras. Oh, he's been injured. He's gonna suck. He's over a point per game right now, and people are like, well, it's not gonna last. I'm like, guys, what are you? Why are you doing this? God, honestly, I was feeling kind of sick of the Flyers this week, but having this conversation with you, Gilbs, I'm feeling revved up, and I'm feeling good today.
We absolutely needed this. We had a few different topics to touch on here, and I feel like we've had a productive conversation throughout them. But I do want to close things out here with where the Flyers are at, and we're now a month into the season, 15 games. Like coming into the year, we all had different expectations. But like, where are we at now? So right now, the Flyers, we have 18 points in 15 games, fourth in the Metro. I think they currently have the second wild card spot by points and by point percentage. 600 point percentage, tied there with the Lightning. Going to our sponsor FanDuel here. They have the Flyers over under points set at 84.5, with which looking around. Dom Luszczyszyn has the Flyers at 84.4 points. Money Puck, which I think it takes too much recency bias into Money Puck, but they have the Flyers at 89.9. You mentioned Hockey Viz, and Micah had him still way down. I think it takes a bigger sample size for Micah to change his stuff there. So it's all over the place. But like, what are your expectations for the team the rest of the way in this season?
I think if they just hold steady to what they're doing, it's gonna be fine. Like, it's not the most exciting hockey to watch. I'll be honest, it's a bit of a slog. Who would have thought? John Tortorella, exciting hockey team. But if the guys who need to play well or improve in best case scenario, I'm fine with that. But it would be really cool if we got like a mid-season trade that just really shook things up. That'd be fun. Get us a big center or a defenseman. Leo Carlson, maybe he doesn't want to stay in Anaheim.
A tall center, Joe? Is there any of them available that might be available on a team that's currently last in the East, perchance, that might actually try another rebuild?
I meant metaphorically, but I
metaphorically.
assume,
Oh, a
yeah,
metaphorical big
metaphorically.
center
Big
there,
name,
but
big name.
big name, big name. Okay,
Mm.
so yeah, but yeah, that would be fun. But what before we get into expectations, actually, everyone shut up about trading Owen Tippett. The Flyers would regret trading Owen Tippett, even if you trade him for a top pair defenseman. Owen Tippett's going to go somewhere and score 40 goals and be like, "Oh, why'd we trade Owen Tippett? That's the exact type of player that we need."
Yep.
And every team in every league has a player that fans are like, "All right, this guy is the default guy we put in trade conversations." And then I see people be like, "Oh, Jordan Kyrou was scratched. Flyers should trade for him." No,
Why?
Flyers fans would love to throw Jordan Kyrou in trade. He'd be the new Owen Tippett. He'd be the next guy to
Yeah.
be like, "Oh, we gotta trade Kyrou here." Like Owen Tippett, sure, hasn't found his ceiling yet, has shown it in spurts, but very manageable cap hit. Maybe once Martone gets here, and if Zegras is a wing, we can talk about it. But Owen Tippett right now, let's just let's ride this out. Let's keep it going. Like he's
Yeah.
not going to get traded, and he's just thrown out left and right.
I mean, if Leo Carlson was like, "Oh, I don't want to play in Anaheim," and they wanted Owen Tippett as part of the return, I
Yes.
would make that deal.
Yeah.
But like, I'm not trying to offload Owen Tippett. But if someone was like, "Here's a player that improves you at a position that you need to improve at," okay, I'm listening. It's the same thing with Bobby Brink. Here's the thing. I was at a Halloween party last weekend. I know it's November, but we had to have a late one because of the way scheduling worked out. Whatever, it was fun. I was talking to one of my friends, and she's like, "Yo, they cannot trade Bobby Brink ever. They will regret that immediately." And I'm like, "Damn, you got to come on our podcast and tell that to Gilbs because he's a big old Bobo fan too."
I love. I'm definitely a Brinkster here. I love Bobby Brink. Yeah, 9 points in 15 games so far. Like he's also in that conversation. But yeah, unless it's for like a Tage Thompson or somehow like Rasmus Dahlin or someone insane like that. Like
yeah,
Owen Tippett is a player you're probably going to regret trading unless you trade him to a team that is bad. I guess like the Sabres.
Would you do Tippett for Rossi straight up? I would say no.
Probably not. Probably
Yeah.
not. Just think Tippett's ceiling is a lot higher. Rossi's floor is definitely a lot higher. He gives you the center that you need, but
do they need that though?
He's 5'9".
But do they need that anymore?
Yeah. It depends on how you view Luchenko and Nesbitt, but like
Zegras, Coots, Cates.
Zegras, I am not counting on as a center yet. Couturier is a middle six center. Cates is a middle six center.
I don't think Rossi's a 1C. I think he's just a really good 2C, and the Flyers have like 3 of those.
That's all they have. Yeah, that's all they have. So no.
And not just here, but maybe in the system too. It's a redundant thing to take.
No, I would love to trade Dvorak for like a first or like a high second, and then flip that pick plus a prospect for like a middle for like a Rossi in the offseason.
Or my philosophy is get a first round pick for another one for 2027 or even 2028. That way you have offer sheet. I know you have to use your own picks for offer sheets. I understand that, but you can then trade picks back and forth so that things work out differently,
Yeah.
And and frankly, selling a rebuilding fan base, say you send out a big offer sheet this summer and you have to give up 2 first round picks in 2027 and 2029. Well, you have another auxiliary pick in 2027 from Toronto, so you're still making a first round pick. And it could be a high one if the Leafs keep playing like this. So, it's just good to have as ammo. Anyway, expectations.
Having the extra picks makes it a ton easier to make an offer sheet. Yeah, next year, 2027, they have the second first, top 10 protected for the Leafs, have a second third for the Kings. So if they can trade Dvorak for a second, they can then offer sheet it. And offer sheets become a lot more viable if the Flyers make the playoffs. If the Flyers make the playoffs and like you get rid of Dvorak, you can replace Dvorak with an offer sheet candidate or a Marco Rossi type. Leo Carlson would be fantastic there from Anaheim. But expectations here. So Flyers right now are in a playoff spot. We're 15 games in. However, they only have 4 wins in regulation. That is tied for the second fewest Calgary has 3. One of them, of course, was against the Flyers. Then you got the Kraken, Flyers, Kings, Oilers, Sharks, Canucks, Sabres, and Preds with 4. Flyers
Wow.
only have 5 regulation plus overtime wins because 3 of them have been in a shootout there. But
Shootout.
a big thing here to look at is the goal differential. Flyers have a +4 goal differential because they're playing very much boring hockey.
Yep.
What's that? 3, 4, 5, 6. Like that's top 10 in the league. Like they are among the teams that don't have a bunch of regulation wins. They're the only team that has a positive goal differential. Like that. That is something you should be looking at. And they're limiting goals, and that's with learning a new system. Erson being out for a bit. You know, Vladar getting worn down perhaps a little bit, but they're playing boring hockey, but they're winning, and playing for the loser point isn't a bad strategy given their shootout dominance, especially, and overtime. What are they in overtime? 2 or 3 and 1? Like it's or no, they lost in overtime to Carolina too, but they've been great past regulation.
Oh man, are we the new York Islanders playing for
Never,
the
never.
extra point? Um, I don't know. I mean, it usually is a good indication if a team has a positive goal differential of their
Mhm.
playoff capabilities because I think it was 2 seasons ago the Capitals like squeaked in over the Flyers with a negative goal differential and everybody's like, "Well, that's weird. That never happens." So, um that's good. I still don't think the Flyers, I'm not high enough on them to think that they're going to make the playoffs this year, especially if all of the other teams in the East, like we said at the top, if the rest of the East holds on to the last minute, I don't think the Flyers win that kind of a down the stretch race. Unless, of course, Zegras just goes beast mode and Michkov and Konechny wake up, but you know, well, that's kind of up in the
Yeah.
air.
Yeah, if I think the big thing, and it's with every team, it's a easy thing to say, is just staying healthy. Like we saw when Couturier was out a game, when Forster was out for a few games, we saw how things can get jumbled up and they just don't
Yeah.
look like themselves. But if they can stay healthy, especially if they get Ristolainen back, like this is a team that I would put up there. You know, not with the top teams in the let's at the division. Yeah, you have the Hurricanes, they're winning it. You have the Devils. Pittsburgh's going to fall down. Then you got the
Eh,
Flyers, and Pittsburgh's falling down, Joe. They have so many
okay.
injuries. They're going over to Sweden. That's always a season killer coming back from a
True.
international trip. Then you have the Islanders. Flyers are better than them. The Rangers finally got a win at home. I think it was last night. And the
Hmm.
Caps and Blue Jackets are both at 500. Like, I don't think the Flyers are much worse than the teams behind them, and I think they're better than the Penguins. And then the Atlantic is where it gets kind of tricky because the Habs are 10-3-2, but a lot of that is overtime wins. There are 5 wins in regulation, 5 in overtime due to Cole Caulfield. Tampa Bay is picking it up. The Sens have been hit or miss. Boston's right there. Detroit is right there. Like it's going to be competitive in the East just because there's so many mid teams, and
Hmm.
I don't see any of them really buying at the deadline besides maybe the teams that you expect to be good, like the Panthers, like the Leafs, maybe the Rangers do something. But
Devils, Canes.
well, yeah, the Flyers aren't competing with them though. Those
Oh,
playoff spots are locked in. Like it's getting the third in the
the wild card.
Metro or the second wild card, pretty much.
Right. Um, I mean, they could do it. I we you brought up a good point. We always make fun of, oh, we need structure, we need systems, we need structure. The reason you have it is when players go down with injury, you're able to have a next man up mentality. And we've seen with Forrester out, with when Kuz missed some time, that they struggled with that to
Hmm.
some degree. Um,
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't know.
hockey's so unique when like one player like Forster goes out. You can't just replace him in the lineup. Like in baseball, you just replace him, maybe move the batting order around. Basketball, you get you rotate guys in all game anyway, but it's like you have the
Mhm.
starting five. Football, like yeah, one guy can be huge, but like it doesn't move your entire defense or offense around based around him. So like losing one piece, especially a piece like Forster, can throw things into into flux there. But I like what I saw from Grunstrom. I feel like he can be a middle 6 guy for the Flyers. I like him over like, Jacob Gaucher or Tony Dick
Delorier.
or Delorier, obviously, or even Obels. Obels can play center, but like if Dvorak's 4C, I'd rather have Grunstrom in there over Obels.
Really? Okay, interesting.
I just think Grunstrom has more scoring upside and also more experience. So I think he could do more than Albus, but it's very, very negligible, the difference there.
Yeah. I still am a negative Nancy and don't think the Flyers are making the playoffs. Um, Although with the way that McKenna's under the microscope now, it's like, oh, is he actually a number one pick? Is he actually that good? I'm like, hey, if the Flyers miss the playoffs and draft 7th and McKenna falls to them because he has a bad year at Penn State, cool. All right.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't want to. I don't want to think about the draft yet, though. I really just, I
like,
can't do it yet, man.
no,
We're not tankathoning yet.
Someone dropped in like the 2026 draft rankings in the Broad Street Hockey chat, and I was like, no, I'm not.
That was me.
I'd rather talk about Cutter Gauthier all day long than look at these names that doing 1 month of research in advance for the Flyers to draft somebody you didn't even think they would is too much. You don't need to do all these months as a
2 years in a row. This has happened to us. The Luchenko pick really burned us, and then we're like, well, they better pick Higgins because there's no way Porter Martone will be there at 6. And, well, there he was.
And then Nesbitt too. They traded up for him there. So yeah, but I think the playoff expectations we have the rest of November. I think will go a long way for it. Obviously, got Edmonton, at St. Louis, at Dallas, St. Louis Devils. Then on the road at Tampa, at Florida, at the Islanders, and at the Devils to close out the month there. But this coming week, got those 3 games: home against Edmonton on Wednesday, at St. Louis on Friday, and at Dallas on Saturday.
How do we do with last week's, though?
Our predictions for last week. The Flyers beat Montreal 5-4 in a shootout. We both had 4-2 wins against Montreal, which and maybe if I didn't use my witch powers for an overtime game, it would have been a 4-2 win if they didn't blow that one there. But they got the dub there against Nashville. It was a 3-1 win. You had 3-1 Nashville. I had 3-2 Nashville. So good road win there for the Flyers in Nashville. And then Ottawa, that 3-2 overtime loss. You had 5-4. I had 4-3. Both in overtime there. Just those 2 minutes in the first period, Ottawa got those 2, and that was all she wrote for the Flyers. Yeah. So
well, they came back. They tried.
No, they did. It was starting to feel like a win. It was starting to feel like a shootout win, and then the bad non-change by Zegras, and Stützle just gets the backdoor goal there in the final minutes.
I would trade for Stützle in a heartbeat. By the way, love that guy. Yep. All right, Edmonton. It's a home. It's here, right? It's in Philly.
It is here. It's here.
Okay. Edmonton looks awful. They look real bad. I know they came back and beat the Blue Jackets. I think the Flyers get that one. 5-3 regulation.
Okay. I'm going with
because it's too cold.
Yeah. I'm going with Flyers 4-3 in a shootout. I feel like it's tough to beat the Oilers in a shootout, especially in overtime with McDavid. But I feel like they can recover, play more of a possession game, and get the shootout win. Because these games across conferences, you don't care about giving up the loser point. I feel like we get a close game there. At St. Louis, we have on Friday, first half of a back-to-back. How's St. Louis doing? You the Blues writer, Joe?
Oh, terrible. They're really struggling.
They're bad, right? 5-8-3.
They're like one of the worst teams in the league right now. They healthy scratch Jordan Kyrou. We talked about it earlier. That woke the team up, though. They played pretty well in that game. Binnington's been bad. Hoffer's been bad. Like, how do I put it, though? They've been bad in a way that makes you think, like, this can't last forever. Like, they have a track record of being better than this, so maybe it comes back around. But it's getting late early. The Central Division has been... Look at the Blackhawks. They've been good. Like, not anyone's idea of a cup hopeful, but like,
no,
they're kind of hanging around.
Bedard's been great, yeah.
And Nazar when he's in, I think the Blues get. I think we're gonna shellac the Blues, just absolutely blow them back. 6-2.
I would absolutely love that. Absolutely, that 6-2 Flyers win. I don't want to say overtime again, but I could very much see an overtime game here against the Blues. I'll go a 4-2 win there for the Flyers. It is the first half of a back-to-back for both teams. So hopefully the Blues play the Golden Knights on Saturday. So hopefully they save Binnington for the Knights and start Hofer, who has not been good as the starter there against the Flyers.
I mean, hold up. Let me look up Binnington's stats right now. Binnington's save percentage is like not any better. It's an 859 with a 334 goals against average.
They're both so bad.
They are last year's Flyers. Because Holfer's got an 865 and 4 goals against average. They are last year's Flyers tandem. What's the award for best tandem? The Jennings? Is that
the Jennings? Yeah, that's the fewest goals allowed. This is Jennings. Yeah.
Yeah, this is like the Jerkings or something. I don't know. We need another trophy for the worst tandem.
Yeah. All right. Then at Dallas there, I think, I'm confident enough in the Flyers goalies now that Ersson is healthy. At Dallas Flyers, Dallas is good. Dallas is not a back-to-back for them. Coming back home after a game in Montreal on Thursday. I think that's a 5-2 Dallas win.
3-2 overtime loss. I think Dallas has struggled to score actual goals.
They did for a while, but they have Rupe Hintz back now, so I think that kind of helps them out getting a center back. But they have struggled to score a little bit.
They won 2-1 against the Kraken the other day. Like, that's not a lot of goals against a team you would expect to score a lot of goals against. Mm-hmm. Although Seattle's been okay. The West is also weird. There's like been a bit of an uptick in these up and coming teams, right? The Mammoth have
been great.
Good.
Chicago,
the Sharks,
Sharks have been great. They've been great underdog picks for me. They've been good. And
they're bad. They lose a lot, but they look good doing it, and that's a big step.
Yeah, and the Ducks have not great underlying numbers, and they're top of the Pacific there. Jets have bad underlying numbers. They're holding on probably because of Hellebuck there. Yeah, it's just every team is getting so many overtime points, so they're all just jumbled up except like the very top and the very bottom.
It's fascinating how it's played out in fantasy hockey too, because like the goaltending in fantasy hockey this year, unless you have Connor Hellebuck, every fantasy format has been a disaster because no goalies have been like that good overall, which is hilarious. It's been a weird year in so many regards already.
It has indeed. Yes. All right, I think that's gonna about do it for us. We should be back. Flyers have 4 days off, 16, 17, 18, 19. They're off from Saturday night to the following Thursday. So we'll be back one of those days, potentially Monday or Tuesday next week, likely around 3:00. So make sure you check us out on YouTube there, like, comment, and subscribe. And what else do they got to do on YouTube, Joe?
Ring that notification bell.
Ring that bell so you know when we are going live. And of course, make sure you check out BroadStreetHockey.com. Like, read, and subscribe. Everything there. Just had some surface level updates to the website to add some social stuff on the sidebar. Podcasts are now on the sidebar, so make sure you check that out. The Discord link is there as well. Everyone at BroadStreetHockey.com just grinding out content. So many articles every day. So make sure you check out BroadStreetHockey.com. And of course, thanks again to FanDuel for sponsoring us. Joe, where can people find you?
You can find me on Blue Sky, jfdemarini.bsky.social. Thank you, Gilbs. How about you?
You can follow me on Blue Sky at ryangilbert.bsky.social. Until next time, thanks for watching.
Go Flyers.